Does life feel so busy that you don't even have time to process it? What it all adds up to, how you even feel about this week or this month? In this video, I want to suggest that a writing practice is your way of taking charge, because without digesting our experience, life is happening to us. We don't even understand the deep currents of what is going on. You can even argue, is this life even yours under those circumstances? Now you may say, it's easy for you, Greg, on career break, living in Bali now, to say that life is under control, you have the time for writing, but in truth, I started out when I was new to the City of London, working as a corporate lawyer back in 2017. I was figuring this thing out called adult life, what I wanted from my career and my relationships and my life in this new city. And I think writing can support you in the same way. This video comes in 3 parts. First, understanding the world. Second, understanding yourself. And thirdly, the different types of writing you can engage in. Firstly, understanding the world. Let me share with you what I think is the route from passive to active living. It comes in 3 phases: information, knowledge, wisdom. Information is basically what you get from social media, so a constant stream of data points coming into your senses. Knowledge is where you group or categorize these data points so they become understandable. Wisdom is how to use that knowledge, understanding the causal patterns and what you want to achieve to take action in the world. You are now an active liver. In life, the default is the danger. In our normal routine, the natural trend is to become purely passive recipients of information unless we take concerted action. To take charge, you need some kind of reflective practice, and I would argue that writing is the ideal form. Writing, put simply, is just thinking in a structured way. It is the perfect option for turning information into knowledge and knowledge into wisdom. Firstly, the very act of writing things down forces you to pick out what is the most important thing that happened during this time period, and how do I categorize the information of everyday experience so I can make sense of it. Over time, you will see a pattern in events. Day to day, things can happen randomly, but time filters out the impurities and leaves you with those underlying destinies of your life distilled so that you can understand what truly matters over a period of months or years. Second, understanding yourself. If you write your thoughts down, you can look at your own mind in the same way as you would look at the external world. You become transparent to yourself, almost a different person that you're engaging in dialogue with. I've been listening to a great series by John Vervaeke, and he says that this is basically the function of meditation. Sometimes you want to look at the external world, and other times you want to take off your glasses and look at the lenses to see if they're clear, to make sure that there are no blurs in the glass. Writing here, of course, serves the same function as meditation. Let me suggest some ways you may want to observe your own mind in this way. Firstly, you can take a logical standpoint. So, does what I'm saying actually make logical sense? Secondly, you can look for patterns in how you tend to respond over time. If you find a really strong, consistent pattern, the facts are probably different in 2 episodes. So that's an area where you may encourage yourself to look beyond your own preconceived ideas about what the world is really about. And thirdly, yes, look for those consistencies, but the differences can also be really interesting. They can show you how your life, the external life, is evolving over time, but also show you opportunities for growth and for change, and maybe some negative developments as well in your own personality. The hidden secret, the hidden power behind this is that you start to gain a higher intelligence. Let me explain what I mean. So everyone accepts that over the course of a few years, they will change as a person. What they think is important, their beliefs about the world, how they go about their actions. If you write something down, you have a record of what you were focused on and how you were seeing that thing at a particular moment in time. When you come back to that, be it a year, a few years down the line, again now you are a different person. You are paying attention to different things. You have different experiences fresh in your mind. You're interested in new topics. When you reread these passages, it is like unlocking someone else's mind. It becomes a fresh perspective again, and you can join your present self with your past self. It's a pretty great cheat for multiplying your own wisdom. So that's your incentive scheme, seeing the world for what it really is and taking on the intelligence of multiple people. How do you actually put it into practice? What are the types of writing you can do? I think it really depends on what comes most naturally to you, and you may want to start out with one and then progress to another form. The simplest thing is probably to catch any thought that comes to mind and just write it down. These are things that give you that little jolt of significance where your brain is saying, you want to pay attention here. Write that down and then park it in the moment, come back to it later on in the evening, reflect on it for a little while and try to expand it into a few paragraphs, as much really as it gives you. Journaling is another popular form, making a note of the significant things that happened during the day and how that made you feel. This action and reaction dynamic can be really useful in clarifying exactly what is going on in the world over time and ultimately what you want to get out of your experience and how it's currently going for you. Another option, my main option, is fiction. Whereas journaling deals more with life directly as it happens today, fiction brings out those long-term undercurrents, the themes that occupy your subconscious attention. Journaling is like learning the scales on the piano, and fiction is about more improvising a jazz solo. You are using the raw experience of life, playing with it, setting up experiments and seeing what would happen in a hypothetical scenario, or what principle or trend wins out amongst a handful that you have noticed in your experience. There you have different options. Pick the one that is right for you. The fact of the practice is more important than the form. Socrates said, the unexamined life is not worth living. Well, I would argue it's not really yours. Now you know a way to take charge. Write consistently and feel that new poise of understanding what is really going on in your world and what you want to do about it. See you next week.